Hi folks, Donna Bob here. Welcome back to this prehistoric revival park whose name I have trouble saying in Spanish and occasionally getting it spelled right. Anyway, this is part 3 of this series, the third of 3. And we're in this rather extensive park and we're going to be covering the Cenozoic portion of the park as able to be represented by the animals that start with early access. There are 3 mammal genera and 4 species. So let's get to it. We're come down the path headed toward that mammoth on the rock as a signpost and take a walk around to the prefab build. And we will bamf up to the top and watch sunrise in this prehistoric kingdom. Out there on this Pleistocene riverbed, there is a small herd of mammoths and a coelodonta, also known as the woolly rhino, and decided to have them share the exhibit because they at least sometimes shared an environment, and also meant I could get the park together faster and get a little bit of, I believe there was some exhibit bonus for putting these 2 animals together, even though they're not from the same dig site. Um, I used all 3 mammoth skins to give a sort of, what's the word I'm looking for, a light take on a herd structure look, since one of the skins is notably smaller than the others. Um, Although the little guys still have full tusks. Maybe they're supposed to be a little bit closer to Wrangel Island mammoths, uh, one of the last places that mammoths were still alive before their extinction. Anyway, so they're out there. I don't know why the game stuttered there, or maybe it was just the video. Silodonta should be, there he is, coming into the screen, just waddling along there. It's really nice to have some other mammals to go with the woolly mammoth. Um, but even then, the selection is all at the high end of the star scale. So these are not starter animals. Uh, so they had to come late in the park build till the park was good enough to have them. This skin is based on a cave painting in terms of its color structure, not necessarily its actual color, but how the color uh, changes across the animal. So uh, after we uh, finish here watching these guys have their breakfast, we will be moving out and to the other 2 animals that are making up the Cenozoic portion of this park build at the moment. In the distance, you can see a prefab behind the scenes structure. Uh, there's actually 2 of them there, duplicated, sitting in front of the prefab nursery. And that's just to add a little feel to this exhibit and get another prefab in. So you guys can get an idea of just how much you can do and how well it looks with the prefabs. Uh, so not everybody's a builder, and that's just the way it is. So let's head down the path now. And you can see there are various ways to continue back to the Mesozoic. Uh, that's the Albertosaurian crew, I believe, in that big exhibit to the right. So as we go down this path, you can see there's a restaurant, the one that has a mammal theme in its logo, and that is Sweet Tooth's. If you look to the left, we can look down this Pleistocene exhibit. Did my best to give it a good boreal feel. Reminds me a little bit of some of the rivers I've seen in Alaska. Anyway, on we go. Um, the other two animals are both Smilodon. They're two species, and they're both in here. The restaurant, of course, is a prefab and been expanded. Probably you're used to hearing that by now. The expanded patio with the benches and umbrellas and the little garden area here in the back, uh, building off what the prefab started with. As we come around this visual break, we come on to the first exhibit, and this one I believe is Smilodon fetalis. Um, and Here's one there having breakfast with his head right in his lunch. There's another one sleeping in the back. So let's see if we get a. Was gonna get in to get that guy, and while we were going through the bush, he laid down. I guess he's got a full tummy, and it's time to take. Yes, got a yawn coming. Yep, time to take a nap. Well, the other one's getting up. Maybe that will give us some action we can follow, or maybe not. Doesn't seem to be very interested in moving out. A little stuttery walk there, but I would expect that to get better as we move along in the game. So here's a still shot of that skin. Kind of got an ocelot-y feel. I think it looks pretty cool. I also think it would be very neat to have a more lion-inspired skin for this animal. Very classic Charles Knight take on this saber-toothed tiger, as it's popularly known. Um, but we've got this, and it's cool. There are two skins for the other species, and we'll be looking at one of them here in this build. So before we leave this species, we'll take a look at its habitat. Built a little waterfall thing for it. And it turns out these animals have slightly different forest preferences. So a little bit more vegetation here for this species and a bit less for the other. Um, you will notice there's a space between the two exhibits, and the idea is that would eventually build a cat house um, that fills that space in the center. So the other exhibit is for populator, who we'll leave our sleeping one here and go over there. Serious reflections on the glass today. Um, and it's a little bit different. High area with a feeding area, big pond in the center. And the animals were being very shy when I shot this. In fact, one of them had actually escaped confinement. But I set up these still shots after the fact to let you see the animal and the skin. I chose the dark one here for contrast to set the two animals apart. So there it is. Looks like a pleasant place for a saber-tooth to hang out. But then what do I know? I'm not a saber-tooth. Um, but the sun is starting to go down, and I think we've already got Kitty napping. Yep. Yep. Love the little twitches as he thinks about cat things. Anyway, so night is falling on this prehistoric kingdom and also on this video. And the three doing the PRP Parque. And so this is nighttime in the park. And I'm glad you all could stop by, take the tour. I hope you watch the other two for the full effect. Um, I may be following up on this in the future. I suspect the next thing I will be doing is sort of a let's play kind of video in the early access build. So We're going to make our way out of the park at this point, head toward the exit, and leave this prehistoric kingdom for now. And I hope to get back on a regular schedule sometime soon. um, and as we move into early access and life gets fun. So take note of the message and do leave some feedback. Subscribe, like. It all helps my channel and encourages me to do more. You all take care of yourselves, and I'll be back in a while with more PK. Take care. Bye.